The moment she turned 18, everything shifted irreversibly. She had followed her mother into the Sterling family at 12, stepping into a world of marble floors, crystal chandeliers, and quiet, suffocating power. By 18, she and her stepbrother, Damian Sterling, the cold, ruthless billionaire CEO who controlled half the East Coast real estate market, had crossed the forbidden line. One stolen night became 10 years of secret obsession. During the day, they were the picture of perfect step-siblings in front of the family. Polite smiles, careful distance, practiced indifference. At night, they devoured each other behind locked doors, bodies crashing together in desperate, punishing rhythm, silk sheets twisted around limbs, his hands bruising her hips as if branding ownership into skin. For 5 full years, she surrendered completely, addicted to the way he claimed her like she was already his wife, his little obsession, his secret addiction. Whispering filthy praises against her throat, pinning her wrists, reminding her in that low, velvet growl that she belonged to him alone. She told herself it was worth every hidden bruise, every time he murmured "good girl" while she trembled beneath him, every punishing thrust that left her breathless and marked. Worth it because the intensity felt like love, even if it burned. Until the afternoon she overheard the truth. She stood frozen outside his study door while he laughed with his closest associates, the sound low and careless. They asked what he planned to do with his little stepsister now. Wasn't the original plan to play with her, ruin her, then discard her to punish her mother for marrying into the Sterling fortune? His voice came low and cruel, every word a blade slicing through the illusion she had clung to. He said he needed to drag it out longer, make the eventual betrayal cut deeper, make her suffer more completely when the mask finally dropped. The room erupted in laughter, casual and vicious. She stood in the hallway feeling ice flood her veins, her stomach turning to stone. Everything, the nights of fevered possession, the way he growled your mind while buried so deep she forgot her own name, had been revenge. Not love, not even obsession, just calculated cruelty designed to destroy. Her mother still had to live in that house, still had to face the glittering cage of Sterling wealth and status. A public scandal would shatter her. The only escape was to disappear completely, quietly, without a trace of drama that could boomerang back. 10 days later, she sat in the living room of their sprawling Fifth Avenue penthouse, voice barely above a whisper, announcing that her study abroad application to London had been approved. She would leave in 10 days. Her mother's eyes lit with excitement and a flicker of sadness. She immediately started planning, mentioning an old friend whose son lived in London. Someone she had been vaguely promised to in childhood through a casual family arrangement. Maybe they could meet, see if anything sparked. She nodded quietly. Fine. Whatever kept the peace. Damien walked in at that exact moment. All black cashmere sweater stretched over broad shoulders. Keys tossed carelessly onto the console table with a metallic clink. He gave her one long, unreadable look, dark eyes narrowing just enough to make her pulse stutter, said nothing, and disappeared upstairs. That night the table was set with vintage Bordeaux and her mother's best china to celebrate the new chapter. Halfway through the meal, she suddenly claimed the wine tasted off, probably corked, and pulled her mother into the kitchen. Quietly, she begged her not to tell Damien about London yet. Her mother, remembering how attentive he had always been to his little stepsister, softened and agreed to keep the secret a little longer. She barely ate. Exhaustion pulled her upstairs early. She showered, slipped between Egyptian cotton sheets, and drifted into uneasy sleep. At midnight he appeared like always, shadow moving across moonlit marble, burning breath against her neck, lips grazing the sensitive spot below her ear that always made her arch. She jolted awake, shoving at his chest. He only smiled that dark, lazy smile and murmured how suddenly she didn't want her possessive stepbrother touching her now that Mommy was trying to arrange a nice British boyfriend. She said nothing. Silence stretched thick and dangerous. His expression hardened. In one smooth motion he dragged her beneath him, caging her wrists above her head with one large hand. He reminded her, in that velvet dangerous voice, that he had told her years ago no boyfriends. Ever. She was his. Only his. Heat rolled off him in waves, his body a furnace against hers. She lied and said her period had returned, that she felt awful. He studied her face for a long, searching moment, then softened, just barely. Fine. Sleep. He wrapped his arms around her like steel bands and held her through the night, possessive even in restraint. She lay awake listening to his steady breathing, knowing this was almost over. She no longer belonged to him. Soon she would belong to no one. Morning came. He was already gone, vanished before dawn like every other day for 5 years. Downstairs, a strange woman sat on the cream velvet sectional beside her mother. Damien's girlfriend. Tall, elegant, dripping in Van Cleef and Arpels, smiling like she owned the room. She introduced herself warmly, saying Damien talked about his sweet little sister all the time. She said nothing, poured the woman a glass of sparkling water with lemon, turned away before anyone could see her trembling hands. Damien appeared behind her in the kitchen doorway. One arm snaked around her waist, lips brushing her ear in a stolen claim. She jerked sideways. Not here. Not with your girlfriend outside. He only smirked, dipped his head, and stole a hard, possessive kiss anyway, brief but searing. Then he explained, casual as if discussing the weather, that the woman was merely an old childhood friend recently returned from Milan. His father kept pushing marriage. This was theater. A shield. His real girlfriend? She already knew exactly who that was. She stared at him without expression, nodded once, walked out. Breakfast was torture. The woman sat pressed to Damien's side. He transferred a perfectly runny yolk from his plate to hers when she mentioned craving it. She fed him a bite of her own in return, laughing softly. Across the table, she kept her eyes on her oatmeal and pretended not to notice the performance. Later, the woman suggested they all go out together. Shopping, maybe, since it was raining. Damien's father agreed instantly. No daughter of his would wander Manhattan alone in a downpour. Damien would drive her. She sat in the back of the black Maybach while the two of them chatted in front. Rain hammered the tinted windows. The woman leaned close and whispered that she knew everything, their twisted little secret, and that it would never last. Damien felt nothing real for her. If she wanted, she could take him permanently. A minute later, the woman's phone alarm chimed. She faked a panicked call. Her dog was sick, emergency vet. Tears welled instantly. Damien pulled over. After a beat, he told her to get out and take a cab. The vet was in the opposite direction. The woman handed over a flimsy umbrella with mock sympathy. She stepped into the storm. The umbrella broke within seconds. Rain soaked through her coat, her shoes, her hair. No cabs in sight. She ran. Half an hour of pounding pavement until she reached the visa office drenched and shaking. After the appointment, she walked another hour home, fever already burning under her skin. She collapsed into bed. Nightmares chased her, dark shapes, cold laughter, emerald necklaces glinting like poison. When she finally surfaced, Damien was there. He cradled her against his chest, spooning medicine past her lips, murmuring soft commands to swallow, to rest, that his baby girl would be okay soon. She drifted again, unsure what was dream and what was real. When she woke properly, the fever had broken. His side of the bed was empty. His phone buzzed on the nightstand. She glanced at the screen, group chat with his inner circle. They teased him about canceling multi-million-dollar meetings to rush home when she got sick. Running 23 red lights. Someone joked he must actually care. His reply was ice. Like her? Only if I'm dead. Just playing the long game. When she finally believes it's real, the fall will break her completely. Isn't that the point? The words carved into her chest. 5 years reduced to strategy. She let the phone drop. He walked in carrying fresh water. Saw her face. Snatched the device. Tension radiated from him like heat. What did you see? She looked away. Nothing I shouldn't have. He pulled her into his arms, voice gentling in a way that once would have melted her. He had been planning a surprise. He found a way. Certain countries, places like the Netherlands or parts of Scandinavia, recognized marriage between non-blood-related step-siblings under specific conditions. He was already handling visas, properties, private legal arrangements. They could finally be together in the open, no more hiding. She stared at the wall. The dream they once whispered about in the dark now felt like ash in her mouth. 10 days from now she would vanish from his life forever. After the fever, she did the math. Every cent the Sterlings had spent on her since she was 12, tuition, clothes, travel, medical, totaled just over $3 million. Her father's old estate and savings covered most. A small gap remained. She refused to leave owing them anything, especially not him. She posted photography services online. Wedding shoots, senior portraits, fashion editorials. She worked 18-hour days, camera strapped cutting into her shoulders, no complaints. The money trickled in slowly. Then a huge offer arrived. $20,000 for exclusive birthday party coverage. The client was demanding perfection or no payment. She accepted immediately. The venue was a rooftop ballroom overlooking the Hudson, fairy lights strung across Italian imported olive trees, a string quartet playing Vivaldi. She arrived with lenses and backup batteries only to find the birthday girl in a custom Dior princess gown, and Damien in midnight black Tom Ford, standing beside her like he belonged there. He saw her exhausted face and his jaw tightened. "Why are you taking grunt jobs like this? Isn't your dream to shoot for Vogue? Money tight?" She lifted her chin. "I'm an adult. I like the work." His eyes darkened. The woman, his fake fiancée, swooped in all smiles, insisting he was just worried about his little sister burning out. She looped her arm through his and pulled him toward the crowd, begging to see how good the photography really was. For 5 hours she didn't stop. 4,500 frames. The woman kept demanding more angles, more close-ups. Finally, she dragged her heavy rig up 3 flights of service stairs for an overhead shot. Through the viewfinder, she watched Damien lead his girlfriend onto the stage. He fastened a legendary sterling family emerald necklace around the woman's throat. Cameras flashed. Cheers erupted. The woman glanced up deliberately, smirked, then threw herself into his arms. The entire night had been performance art, feeding each other champagne, slow dancing under crystal, her whispering against his ear, legs aching so he would kneel and massage her calves in front of everyone. Proof filled the memory cards. Then the woman rose on tiptoe and kissed him. His hands hesitated, only 3 seconds, then gripped her waist, tilted her head back, and turned the kiss filthy and deep. Guests laughed. Someone shouted about wedding bells soon. She captured it all. Every frame razor sharp. When it ended, the woman waved up at her. "Thanks, sweetie. We're good for tonight." Relief crashed through her. She packed up, legs trembling. Downstairs, her mother and stepfather were chatting with the birthday girl. Damien's father beamed at his son. "Since you gave her the family heirloom, shouldn't we invite the whole family? Set a date?" The woman blushed prettily. She wouldn't mind a little help from her future sister-in-law. Maybe as maid of honor? She rubbed her aching wrist. "Sorry, I'm booked solid. But I wish you both a long, happy life together." Damien's gaze snapped to her. The easy smile vanished. Something dangerous flickered behind his eyes, raw, unraveling fury. Hours later, she stumbled home, straight into the shower. Hot water pounded her bruised muscles. She stepped out wrapped in a towel, only to be slammed against the hallway wall. His mouth crashed onto hers. Teeth, tongue, hands ripping the towel away. Kisses trailed down her throat, marking her with bruising possession. She tried to twist free. He pinned her harder. Footsteps echoed on the stairs above. Panic spiked. She hissed that he was insane. He laughed low against her ear. "Yes, baby girl. I'm fucking insane." Scream. "Let them all come see how your big brother ruins his little sister" against the wall. The footsteps faded. She shoved past him and escaped into her room, heart hammering. He followed. "Why call her your sister-in-law? Why call me brother like it means nothing?" She spun on him. "You're getting married. You kissed her in front of me. What did you expect?" His voice cracked with fury. "It was fake. All of it. For my father. You know that." She laughed bitterly. "You're so good at pretending. How long do we keep this charade going? Haven't I suffered enough? Tears finally spilled. She was exhausted. Done. He froze. For the first time in years, real panic crossed his face. Raw fear, not control. He pulled her close. I'm sorry. I lost it when you called her that. Never again. Promise. He tried to kiss her, gentler this time. She pushed him away. Still not feeling well. The fever must have messed with her cycle. Concern flashed in his eyes. He scooped her up, carried her to bed, killed the lights, and held her through the dark. She fell asleep instantly, body too drained to fight. Sunlight woke him. 9 o'clock. He had overslept, first time in years. He slipped out, heading to his own room. Her mother appeared at the top of the stairs. Saw him leaving her daughter's bedroom in nothing but sleep pants. Shock froze her face. Before he could speak, her door opened. She stepped out fully dressed, calm as glass. Morning, Mom. Morning, brother. You left so fast for breakfast. Her mother exhaled. Just a misunderstanding. Come eat. Downstairs, the woman sat at the table, radiant. She was there to discuss wedding details with Damien. Grass ceremony or beach? Diamond or sapphire? She ate in silence. Never looked up. After breakfast, her phone buzzed. A transfer notification. $20,000 from the woman. Payment for the photos, plus a $1,000 tip. She glanced across the table. The woman met her eyes and smiled. Slow. Victorious. That night, alone in her room with the packed suitcase hidden under the bed, she stared at the ceiling. The money was enough. The visa was stamped. In 9 days, she would board a flight to London under a new name she had quietly arranged, leaving no forwarding address, no trail. She would vanish cleanly. But Damien appeared at her door at 2 a.m., eyes bloodshot, hair disheveled. Nothing like the controlled CEO the world knew. He didn't touch her. He simply knelt beside the bed, voice raw. I never meant for you to hear those words. They were lies I told to keep them from suspecting, to protect what we have. Every night, every mark, every time I said you're mine, it was real. The revenge plan died the first time I touched you. I couldn't let you go. I still can't. She looked at him, really looked. Saw the cracks in the armor, the tremor in his hands, the desperation in his eyes that mirrored her own exhaustion. She whispered the truth she had buried for months. I believed you once. I loved you once. But love doesn't build on cruelty. It doesn't survive 10 years of games. He bowed his head. Then let me prove it. No more hiding. No more shields. Walk away with me tonight. We'll go somewhere the laws don't care about blood or marriage certificates. Somewhere we can start over. Or stay and I'll tell my father everything. Let the scandal come. I don't care anymore. She studied him in the dim light. For the first time, the possessiveness felt less like chains and more like a plea. She reached out, fingers brushing his jaw. Not tonight. Not like this. He exhaled, defeated but not broken. Then wait. Give me the 9 days. Let me show you I'm done playing. She didn't answer. But she didn't tell him to leave either. The days blurred. He canceled meetings. Sent the fiancé away with a cold, final call she overheard. It's over permanently. He shadowed her quietly, not touching unless she allowed it, bringing her coffee exactly how she liked, sitting in silence while she edited photos late into the night. No demands. No commands. Just presence, steady, patient, stripped of games. On the 8th night, he found her on the rooftop terrace, city lights glittering below. He stood at a distance. I called off everything. The emerald is back in the vault. The lawyers are drafting papers to transfer $3 million into an account in your name. No strings, no debt. If you leave tomorrow, you'll go free. Completely. But if there's even 1% of you that still feels what I feel, stay. Marry me somewhere the world can't touch us. Or don't marry me at all. Just stay. She turned. Tears shimmered but didn't fall. You broke me, Damien. Over and over. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life fixing it if you'll let me. Silence stretched, one heartbeat too. She stepped forward. Not because he owned her. Not because of obsession or revenge. Because, against every instinct screaming to run, she still loved the man beneath the monster. The one who had held her through fever, who had finally chosen truth over control. She rested her forehead against his chest. One chance. No more lies. No more games. If you hurt me again, I disappear. Forever. His arms came around her, gentle this time, reverent. Never again. They left together the next morning. Not to Denmark or some legal loophole. To a quiet island where no one knew their names, where the past could finally burn away. The penthouse stood empty behind them. Her mother would understand one day. The Sterling Empire would survive without its heir for a while. And in the quiet under foreign stars, he proved every promise, with patience, with honesty, with the slow rebuilding of trust. No possession, just partnership. The obsession softened into something deeper, something real. Years later, she still wore his marks sometimes, faint, consensual, chosen. But now they meant devotion, not ownership. And when he whispered, "You're mine," she smiled against his throat and whispered back, "And you're mine."